the wealth builders towards the end. That one was good. What's happening? Al Siebes here, and I am here in what's affectionately known as the Funk Zone in Santa Barbara, California. Today, we're talking about going from 0 to $1 million in 10 years. What would I do if I was starting with zero, starting with nothing, but I knew what I know today after 25 years of investing, and my goal was to get to $1 million in 10 years. I'm gonna break it down for you point by point, step by step.
Step by step, ooh baby.
We're gonna start with the easy stuff, and I'm gonna build into the big money movers. Let's dive in. All right, so first point. Now remember, we're going in progress here. We're gonna start with the easy stuff, and I'm gonna build up to the real big wealth building jumps. But first point is you wanna get educated. Now I'm not talking about college degree. I'm not talking about that kind of educated. I'm talking about I want you to get educated in the things that we're gonna use to build leverage, to catapult to wealth quickly. I want you to get educated in real estate. So what I'm talking about is it doesn't matter if you're a plumber, if you're a dentist, if you're working at Trader Joe's, wherever you are, I want you to get educated about real estate, because eventually I'm gonna coach you to get into real estate, and whether that's just your home or it's investment, and you're gonna use that as leverage to catapult into wealth. So that's one thing I want you to educate yourself on. Subscribe to channels like this one. Hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and we will educate you. Get around people, get books, get around people that are doing it, that are in real estate, and learn. Then I want you to educate yourself in business. Business is an important leverage tool. It's an income builder, it's a wealth builder. So educate yourself around those two things, real estate and business. All right, step number 2 is we want to increase your income. Increase your income at your job or your profession, whatever you're doing. And the way we're going to do that is you want to increase the skills that you bring to the marketplace. So you want to invest in yourself. What is it, the skills you bring? Even if you're working at Walmart or you're working at an entry-level position, fast food, develop a skill, something that you bring to the marketplace that's of value. Do you work well with something like a camera or with tools? Or is there a way you can increase the skills that you bring to the marketplace? Is there something you could get a license in, where you could get licensed as a real estate appraiser, as an agent, as a dentist, as a hygienist, a dental hygienist? There's ways that you can bring certain skills that will increase the income that you get, because that skill is valuable in the marketplace. And so you want to start increasing that as quickly as you can. And with that will come increased income. And with increased income, I want you to find, this is kind of a sub point, I want you to find a high interest savings account. And that's kind of like an oxymoron. What's the oxymoron? What does oxymoron mean? Oxymoron. It's a figure of speech in which apparently contradictory terms. That is contradictory that you'd have a high yield savings account in today's market. You might get 1% barely, but you want to start setting aside savings. What I did originally is I started it automatically. Every month I'd have a certain amount of money going into my savings account automatically, so I didn't even notice it. And then when I made extra, as my income increased, then I started sacking way more. So we want to start building our savings, because that's the seed money we're going to use as leverage. Remember, we're going from 0 to $1 million, and we've got to have seed money. We've got to have something that we can use to leverage us, and we'll get into that shortly. All right, so number 3 is you want to increase your credit score. I know this is an easy one. You're like,
I knew that, Alan.
Just hang tight. We're building leverage for the wealth building ones that are about to come. But credit score is a huge leverage tool, because as you increase your credit score, you're going to increase your ability to get leverage. So with a very small amount of money, you can invest in something much bigger because your credit score has increased. So there's ways you can increase your credit score, and I'll link you to a video down below where I talk a bit more about that. But one right off the bat is you can download an app like Credit Karma, where it will actually show you your credit score and give you tips to increase it. And you want to follow those tips so that they may come up, things may come up on your credit score you weren't aware of. Like for me, it was like some bill from 5 years ago from some telephone company that I didn't even know was on there, and it was dropping my credit score, which was dropping my ability to get leverage and to get loans and to get a good interest rate and to build wealth. And so you want to improve your credit score. All right, now we're gonna get into the good stuff. We're gonna get into the tools of leverage. I'm gonna start light and go heavier with these points. We're gonna do what's called buy, sell, and flip. Now you can do this with something you know. You can buy things in the marketplace and sell them at an increased price. I have a friend, he loved to get on and research things, and he was doing this. He's buying things on like eBay or garage sales, and he would find things that he knew had value to others that he could sell at a higher price when he marketed them well. He just took nicer pictures, gave good descriptions, and then would put them out on the marketplace and places like eBay. He bought an artifact once that he found that belonged to a family, a wealthy family, and they sold it many years ago, decades ago. They sold it, and it was in the marketplace, and he found it, and he bought it. And then he repackaged it, took some great pictures of it, cleaned it up a bit, and resold it to that wealthy family at a profit of thousands of dollars. So you can buy, sell, and flip. So you can do this with something you know. You may know surfboards. There's a guy here, he buys surfboards and he knows which ones are more valuable, and there's things he can do to them. He paints them or he customizes them, and then he sells them at a profit. There's ways you can buy, sell, and flip. I want you to do that in addition to your income so that you are on the side building extra funds, then you're able to sack that into savings. Meanwhile, you're living financial minimalism. So you're not overspending. Do not go for the flashy cars. Do not go for the flashy things. You're not trying to show wealth. You're trying to grow wealth, okay? So you want to be financially minimalistic in your lifestyle as you're trying to catapult and build leverage. And buy, sell, and flipping, even with smaller things, something that you may know or a market that you may be familiar with, that will help you go in that direction. All right, next point is to develop a business. That could be a side business or this could be your main business. I've got a great example right here in town at UCSB. This guy has developed this business called Snag, and it's a scooter delivery business where you can get you just get on your app and you order something from the store. You want drinks, you're playing basketball, you want food, you want lunch, you're at the pool, you order it in 10 minutes. The scooter guy pulls up and delivers you what you ordered. It's a great business idea. You want to develop a business, whether it's a side business or it becomes a big business, because businesses develop wealth. And you can do that. You can find an area in the marketplace. Even my point before about buying and selling and flipping, that could be the business. It could be a drop shipping business where you're not even holding goods. You're actually just the drop shipper through a site like Amazon. And there's different ways to learn how to do that online. And there's a lot of YouTube videos out there on doing that. And you can develop a business while you have a job, while you have your main income. And again, you're setting aside seed money, you're setting aside leverage for that when you get there, you're ready to execute on something bigger. All right, so here it is, our sixth and final point. And this is where leverage gets really big. I'm all about leverage, especially if we can find ways to leverage with the lowest risk possible. Because you're gonna have to to get from 0 to $1 million, you're gonna have to use leverage. You need a power tool. You need something that's gonna give you strength that you don't have on your own. I'm doing this motion because I'm actually picturing a hammer. Like if there was a nail into this table and I wanted to remove that nail from the table and I grabbed it with my hand and I pulled and I pulled and I pulled, I could not pull the nail out of this table. But if I simply picked up a hammer, it would take very little strength for me to just tilt that hammer back and that nail would come out of the table like that. And that's what leverage does. It catapults you in a way that you can't do on your own. All these points we've made up to this point, the educating, the improving your market skills, the improving your credit score, the buying and selling and flipping, and then the building a business. All of these lead up to you building equity, building wealth, building savings, and then we're gonna put that into real estate. Let me grab my notes because this is where it really gets good. And this is where we can really leverage and really catapult. Now with real estate, you want to buy now I'm gonna be careful how I describe this, but you wanna buy as big of a piece of a real estate as you can afford if you're trying to leverage, if you're trying to grow up. And let me qualify that. So, for example, you may not need a 4-bedroom house. You may be, let's say you're 25 years old and you're single, you're not married, no kids. You may not need a 4-bedroom house. But if you can get yourself into a 4-bedroom house and you can house hack, which I have multiple videos on my real estate investing playlist you can check out, but you can house hack, you could rent out those bedrooms. You might even be able to short-term rent some of those bedrooms, or you may have a guest house or an attached studio you could short-term rent, and you may cover all of your expenses for that mortgage. You may even make more than your expenses on that property by renting them out. And then you're house hacking, that entire property's paid for, and you've used leverage to buy it. And then, to make matters even more interesting, is you could move on to the next one and keep that property, buy and hold it, and move on to the next one and leverage again with a bank loan, putting as little down as possible and getting as low of an interest rate as possible, and making sure you're running your numbers and that the deal makes sense. And then house hacking it or land hacking it, where you're renting out space if it has land, if you're in an area that's more rural. Maybe you're renting out to people coming in RVs, or you have RVs on there that you're renting out as vacation rentals. There's so many ways you could do this, where you could buy real estate and then buy real estate again, and you could leverage. And then what I would recommend as well, if you really want to start catapulting your equity, is buying and selling a piece of real estate every 2 years, in addition to the buying and holding. So as your skills are growing, and again, you may not be in real estate. This may be a side gig, and that's okay. Real estate is a wealth building side gig. And so you can be increasing your wealth through this real estate and buying and selling one every 2 years. Why do I say 2 years? Because you can sell a property, and as long as you've owned it for 2 years as your primary residence, you can sell it tax-free. So up to $250,000 if you're single, and up to $500,000 of a gain if you're married, tax-free. So these are wealth building skills where you can use leverage, and you want to do these things. You want to buy and sell, you want to buy and hold in real estate, and over 10 years, that is going to exponentially grow your wealth through that mortgage being paid down by the income you may be generating on the property, through the appreciation that will happen, just through inflation, just through the value of things going up over those 10 years. And you're going to be building wealth in an exponential way. You follow these 6 things for a decade and you'll be building wealth. And if you can get especially into the businesses and the real estate and get into some bigger properties, some larger numbers through house hacking or through other techniques, that will get you to $1 million in a decade of net worth.